In this video, I'd like to show an Android app that works with a calendar and a calendar view. The URL for the code is seen here. Okay, so we start with what we see here is a calendar view. It's set up for February 14th, 2022. And then we can say how many days is that from now. I'm running it on December 30th. To 2021, and so it is 46 days from now. If I change, let's say I want to go to March 17th, and it automatically changed to 76 days from now. So it was, and you'll see that in the code. Then I sort of press the button for the user. So I could have just cleared out the answer and made them press the button again, but instead I've sort of effectively hit the button for them. So if this is right now 76 days from now to get to March 17th. If I go to the 24th, it should be add 7 days. Okay. So here is, I have variable set working with, so these were my, when it started, I was on February 14th, 2022, and the month starts at 0. So the year is the year and the day is the day, but the month is sort of a 0-based array. Okay. So 1 was the second month, which is February. All right. So here we are in onCreate. Here is a connection. So we saw the design, but let's look at it in design. There's a text view just saying pick a date. Then there was a calendar view. Then there was a button asking how many days. And then there was a text view to display how many days. Okay, so here I'm connecting to the button, to the calendar view, and to the text view that displays the result. I'm getting, we have to make the distinction between a calendar and a calendar view. So a calendar is more just of a calculational thing, whereas this calendar view is sort of, that thing, the view is that thing that you see. So the thing that looked like a calendar was the calendar view. The calendar is just some, class that knows about dates. Okay, so we get an instance of our calendar class. We get a calendar object, and and I called it display because I'm going to ultimately display that date using my calendar view. So then I take my year, my month, and my day, and I use them to set the display. And then I set, and here I am taking my calendar view's date and setting it equal to that date I just created with my calendar class. Okay. And times are usually working in milliseconds. So these are like very large numbers. Okay. All right. Then the calendar view, the widget that looks like a calendar, has one of its main events is when you change the date. So there's a set on date change listener, and that is called whenever the user clicks on a new date on the calendar, and it brings in, and it tells you the year, the month, and the day that the user clicked on it. So I'm taking the year, the month, and the day and setting them to my variables for the year, the month, and the day. And then here I am sort of performing for the user the click. So this is me, instead of clearing out an answer and making the click again, I'm just sort of saying, go ahead and click the button for the user. Okay. Now here's my click event listener. And again, calendar is that sort of more behind the scenes class that understands dates. And I'm figuring out the difference between today and this date that the user selected. So I have two calendar instances, today and later. And when I sort of, with an sort of empty parentheses, just instantiate a calendar, it is today. So I don't have to do any work to get today. I have to work to get this other date that the user chose. So I'm using the set method and using the month, the day, the year, the month, and the day to change the later instance of my calendar. Now I want to figure out how many days it is. So I'm going to take the later time in milliseconds and the current time today in milliseconds. And then I'm dividing them by 1,000. That converts the milliseconds into seconds. By 60. So this is one great big multiplication in the denominator. Okay. So the division by 1,000 turns the milliseconds into seconds. The division by this 60 here turns the seconds into minutes. The second 60 turns the minutes into hours, and the 24 turns the hours into days. So this is all the number of milliseconds in a day. I divide this difference by the number of milliseconds in a day, and that converts it to how many days it's different. And then I'm displaying that result. So here's how many, the number of days from now between what the user chose and today that the computer sort of knows. So that's what I wanted to show you, sort of calendar and calendar view. Calendar is this thing that understands dates behind the scenes. Calendar view is what you saw. The calendar view is something the user can interact with. So it has a standard event of when the user touches it. Okay, so that's mostly what I wanted to show you. Thanks much for your attention.